Guess who? Yes, sir.
You know that I'ma do me.
Always.
Every day I can, I'm gonna be grinding. Gonna get a paper. I'm still shining. The boys still can't do shit about me.
Nothing.
Forget about me. I'ma do me. My boys ain't on the type of shit that I'm on.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us in Rubber City Throwdown. Today we've got Jason Adams, the owner and manager of Underdog MMA Management. Welcome. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
My pleasure. I have no life, so.
God, join the club, man.
Right.
I think anybody has a life nowadays.
Wait. I just got my life back.
You just got a new job, didn't you?
I did.
Congratulations. What are you doing now? Same stuff, just different company, right?
Well, yeah. Pretty much just instead of doing my job and like for the people's job, I'm doing my job. I get to sit in the truck and now start going to Apex because I'm going to get fat. I see it now. It's going to happen.
Now you just say you're going to go to Apex or...
No, I'm actually going to. My name's not George Pointer.
Oh, God. Don't let George hear you say that, man, because when you do come
I know.
to Apex...
I know it's going to be training.
Like, oh no,
Guess who...
one of the Dutch drills, come on over.
Right. Yeah.
Guess who George's new training partner is, guys?
I told you I would be a great punching bag.
Oh, God,
Told
you will
everybody.
be a good punching bag.
Shut up.
Just wait until, like Tony. He spars with Tony. It was like an eye-opener for me when I came in, when I first...
Is that the one with the really fast hands?
Yeah, it's like 140 pounds. And
That's Josh Perkins.
Well, Josh Perkins, yeah, that's another story. Josh will just make you feel stupid when you're sparring.
Dude, I'm already walking into Apex. As soon as it's open and ready to go, is about the time that I'll be able to start going. And I'm already got that mentality of walking into Apex and just expecting I'm going to go home, busted the hell up every day.
She's going in to get your ass.
I'm just going to be the punching bag for
Nah,
Apex.
man,
It's not like that. It's just like with Tony. Tony has like two modes: really hard or just hard.
Right.
Yeah. Well, he'll catch you. He'll catch you a couple of times.
Who's a vacuum
Kinda
cleaner has
open
only
your eyes.
2 speeds.
It was kind of like when I sparred Max Meese, and when I was at Evolve for a little bit, and I had no legs. I was like 290, and I was like, I'm just gonna jump right in, and I couldn't go like 30 seconds of sparring without gassing out. Like gassing out. Like I my legs felt like rubber. I couldn't lift my arms up, and he just beat the shit out of me. And he's what, a featherweight?
35 or
35 is
bantamweight.
Bantamweight. So that's basically what you're going to be walking into. We
Yeah.
got to build your legs, make sure you build your arms, but we're not going to beat your ass too bad.
I mean, I got a little bit of working muscle, but that's about as far as it goes.
And then when you come, we have to do the gang violence drill,
Well, that's
which
fine.
we just did with Amanda. Who did she say anything about that? No.
Can't
Oh
say if she
man,
did.
that's like our favorite drill.
It's
Yeah,
one of those
it's-
things that I can't ask you and you explain it to me beforehand, is it?
Nope.
It doesn't
Okay,
help.
so it's initiation. It's exactly what it
Well, it
is.
doesn't help that like most of the guys on our fight team are black. So when we're like, hey guys, gang violence, and then we put them in the middle, and then we just start beating the shit out of them. All it takes is for one person, the wrong
Right.
person, to walk
was
into
like the
that
one-
gym and go, oh, whoa.
Like when we were at LA Fitness,
Great.
it was 4 white guys punching 1 black guy in the middle. Was
that Tyron? Or?
yeah, it was Tyrus.
Well, at least I'm glad to know that I will know whether I'm going to be a part of this in the
But
first night.
It's a fun drill. It's nothing too bad, but
Do I at least get pillows?
no.
No. Damn.
You got plenty of pillows that you're packing in your midsection right now. Oh, look.
That thing is on vibrate.
Oh, it sounds like it.
I'm telling you it is.
That's a weird vibrate.
It's on vibrate. I just said it.
Just how I was hitting the table sounded just like a song.
It's on vibrate.
So, Jason, tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
How'd you start?
How did I start? I started doing media stuff just for fun. Had a little blog that I think 11 people read. Covered, what was it called? Eva Destruction. All female card that NAAFS did. and then started covering more events and started becoming friends with a lot of female fighters. And then Stephanie Skinner, who I still manage, and this little rodent one who I won't mention her name, started asking me to manage them. I had no clear idea what the hell a manager even did. So I said no, and then talked to some people, and they said, what's the worst that can happen? You suck and you quit. I accidentally somehow learned what the hell I was doing and just kind of snowballed from there.
Right. So you manage how many female fighters right now?
You're going to make me count. Don't quote me on this. I want to say 27.
Name them. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, name some of the top. Name some of the top female fighters that you do manage. I will say.
I wouldn't call any of them top over
The
any
most
other one.
active. Most active. I
But
guess.
I mean, the most well known, I have Jillian DeCourcy. She's fighting in Invicta. She made her pro debut with them. Before that, she was voted Amateur of the Year, Amateur Fighter of the Year on a ton of websites. Tamika Brent, who people in Ohio know, she fought for NAAFS multiple times. She's actually got a fight coming up, but she's been in Invicta. I have Rebecca Heinzman in China, who's fought a couple times for 1FC. Stephanie Skinner, who I mentioned, she's fought for Invicta. She's actually fighting in a one-night tournament in a couple weeks. It's actually cool. The first round's boxing, second round's kickboxing, and then the finals are MMA.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
That, yeah, that would be cool.
So I've got them, and all the way down to I actually have two very, very young girls, Sophie Sharp and Layla Newton, who at 11 years old are doing more than I'm doing at 42 years old.
Long ago, just won a tournament, didn't she? Or grab? Or
they've-
medal.
They both actually, Layla had her first super fight last weekend. She won that. Sophie just did the good fight something New Jersey. She took gold and gi and silver and no gi.
Nice.
So I've
Wow.
got like the full spectrum. I don't go for people just because they have a big name or
Right.
what their record is. So
What goes into managing a fighter?
Yeah. Yeah.
all depends. I've got some where they want me to actively look for the fights. I always make the joke that Jillian, she asks me if she should go to the bathroom. And I'd say that's a joke because I do everything for her and she likes it that way, and I'm cool with that. Then you got others like I have Serena DeJesus. She's actually Roxanne Modafferi's main training partner. She likes to have her coach more involved, and I'm cool with that. So each one, as far as finding fights, each one's different, and I just kind of adapt to the way they like it. It doesn't matter to me. And then, looking for sponsors. That's one thing I kind of think I excel at is the sponsors. So that goes into it. And I always tell people I get to be the asshole. If someone screws you over, sit down, shut up, let me be the asshole because A, I'm good at it, B, I like it, and C, they hate me more than they hate you.
Right. So you know when to stay in your lane. That's really important when you're managing fighters. Not like it's instead of pushing a fighter away, you know when to go. Okay, like you said, you got one fighter that wants their coach to be more involved, and you said, "Oh, okay, that's fine. I'll stay back and let me know what you need,
That's-
and I'll do it."
My rule is just always, if you get an offer, I need to know right away.
Right.
But I gotta tell everyone, if you get offered a fight and I think it's a bad fight, I'm going to tell you I think it's a bad fight. And if you tell me, kiss my ass, I'm taking the fight, my next comment's, okay, let's get to work on your sponsors. I think too many managers try to be too involved. And, let's say it's you. Let's say one of your fighters, I'm managing them, and they get a fight offer. Who knows better if it's a good fight, me or you? You. So I don't have to be the control freak that a lot of the
Right.
other ones do.
No, that's real good. Like, so finding sponsors, I've always been interested because I'm horrible. I've never actually kind of, I've never dived into that lifestyle of looking for sponsors. I've never actually, I hadn't gotten it. It's kicking me in the ass now trying to find sponsors for just the podcast. It's not knowing who to go to, how to build a profile or portfolio, packages, all that stuff. So how difficult is it to really find a sponsor, and what do you in your experience, what do sponsors look for typically when sponsoring an athlete, especially a female mixed martial artist?
Well, first, what do they look for? I hate that it's true, but let's be real. They do tend to sometimes look for the
She hot.
more attractive ones.
Right.
And those girls, the thing is though, is those girls get the sponsors, but they get them for one fight.
Right. Okay.
Oh, so you're not
Like-
get. You would rather get something a little
I've-
bit more.
Yeah, like, you know, they can come to you and say, hey, we'll sponsor you for this fight. They'll give you whatever their arrangement is. And all we ask is for some pictures with the product or the clothing. After that, they've got what they need out of you. They don't need to sponsor you anymore.
Yeah.
I don't say that I don't have some sponsors like that for the girls, because I do, but I like to build up relationships. Like Sick Chic, it's a company in New York. The owner, Wendy, me and her built a really good friendship to where when I went for my fight in New York, I stayed with her. She's got several of my fighters who it's a continual thing. Every fight, they've got their outfit from her. It's not cash, but it's a $350 fight outfit that everyone else is getting in there in their Nike sports bra and the pair of shorts they found at the bottom of the laundry basket. Mine's getting in there with a designed outfit by a designer that would have cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's custom.
And as far as how you finding them, I can take you give me enough time, I'll take the weatherman outside right now and convince him there's a blizzard. You got to know what to say, how to say it, say what they want to hear, but don't bullshit them. That's the other problem I think a lot of them have. Like, they'll go to the sponsor, a manager, or a fighter coach. Like, my fight's going to be huge. It's going to be televised. It's going to be everything. Well, yeah, it's being televised on fight.tv for $15 and 3 people watched it.
Yeah.
That's not televised. So don't lie to them because they figure it
Our
out.
vet's gonna be on
Right.
live pay-per-view, and it's like, oh shit, okay,
It's
Yeah, we don't lie when we say that. It's true. But
I remember, one of my fights was on TV, and I remember trying to tell people that it was going to be on TV, and they're like, oh yeah, what channel? I'm like, oh, it's on Sports Time Ohio, and I thought it was live, and it wasn't.
it was a recording
It
and then
was
put on.
like a week or two later, it started airing, and I was like, oh, this is embarrassing.
2 a.m.
Right. 2:00 in the morning after it went from all channel network to.
So needless to say, a week later, I had people going, dude, you got your ass beat, and I'm like,
Dude, you guys are a week late. My wounds have already healed.
and the other thing is, like, be creative. Like, everyone thinks I'll email Hayabusa. Well, you're a 1 in 3 amateur. Hayabusa's laughing at you as they read your email, or stuff like that. Be creative, and go. Like Rach Wiley, her Invicta banner. Tell me any other banner you've ever seen in history that had 2 rock and roll bands on it as sponsors. That's never happened. So be creative. Like, think outside of the box. Don't just think, okay, that company sponsors a lot of fighters, maybe they'll sponsor me. No, they're not going to sponsor you, so go find someone who will.
So my question is you're naming pretty big names as sponsors. You're not going out just for local places. You're actually reaching out for your people.
Yeah, like, more than half of my fighters, for example, I'm not saying they're the hugest, but like more than half of them are sponsored by Grit. They get their custom mouth guards, or Wendy with Sick Chic. The local ones, like, if you're in Colorado and you own any kind of business, if I email you and tell you about one of my fighters who lives in Colorado, that's great. You might read it. But if she comes in and tells you about herself and they see that, that fighter's coming in multiple times, over and over and actually giving them business. Local ones, 9 times out of 10, it's better to get the fighter to do it. And then the bigger ones, it's better to have the manager do it because, like I said, I'll convince them it's a blizzard outside right now if you give me enough time. And it's not because I lie. It's because I don't. I don't like lying, but I'm very persistent.
Right.
So that goes back to what we were talking about on one of our recent podcasts about fighters needing to learn how to brand themselves,
sell themselves.
and sell themselves. So you like to have your fighters go out for the local sponsorships and put face to the conversation.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, if one of them says they'd rather me do it, okay, I'll do it. You know, I don't have a problem with that. But your local ones, that's, I think, the thing that a lot of them just don't get is a local one is more likely to sponsor you if they know you're already giving them business. They're like,
Okay.
There's a lot of copycats too. If some sponsors see that another business is sponsoring, sometimes they'll jump on a little bit, but it just depends on if whoever owns that business likes MMA or whatever they're doing.
to me, 9 times out of 10, like your local ones, that's where you get your cash sponsors.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the big companies, that's where I can get, you know, whatever.
That's awesome.
I mean, I think it was like 2006 when I did that first Tough Man. Randy Jarvis was like, yeah, try to go out and find a sponsor. It was like $50. You had to pay $50 to go into the Tough Man. And I couldn't find anyone to sponsor me for $50. I remember going into
If you would have called me, I would have sponsored you.
No, you were still in high school. What do you? I fought this
Dude,
thing, man.
I may have been in high school, but how long have I been working?
Yeah, true that.
I mean, shit, in high school, I was working 2 jobs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I remember walking into a bar and was like, I was on Kenmore Boulevard. And
You're
I
talking
was
about,
like, I can't remember. It's like the one next to the bank.
yeah, I know.
And I walked in there. And
The little
it was,
white
it was
building.
So, yeah, the little white building. I walked in there, and the bartender and the owner were just sitting there, and the place was empty. And I like went in there. I was like, hey, you know, my name is so and so. I'm doing this Tough Man competition. You know, it's $50. I'm looking for a sponsor. And they basically just laughed at me, laughed me right out.
That
of
was
the
also
building.
because going back to, you know, a manager and everything, that was still really new in the area. So they really didn't know.
Yeah,
they're
this
thinking
was
that
11
you're
years
coming.
ago,
Yeah,
or 12
they're
years
thinking.
ago.
There's that, but they also want to know what they're getting. So if you're doing, you know, a Tough Man, don't take this wrong way, but no one knows who you are at the time. What the hell are they getting out of it?
Right.
That's why, like, some people, I see people make fun of, like, you know, the 1-on-1 amateur who's got her big banner at the fight. Well, that 1-on-1 amateur is advertising her sponsors. Those sponsors are now getting something out of it. So they're going to sponsor her.
Right.
So what you should have done is when you go in there and asking for a sponsor, hey, we're going to plaster your name all over the place when I come out. You know, that's the big difference.
Of course, I mean, I don't blame them.
I mean, you probably couldn't even buy a drink yet, right?
Yeah. I could've-
Yeah,
I mean, I could've-
and you're walking into a
What the
bar
hell are
on
you gonna
Kenmore
bring
Boulevard.
down?
I was 18-year-old kid. I didn't even have fight shorts. I smoking a pack a day. Yeah, man.
Working for a Buckeye or
Are you
something.
gonna come drink after
I
your
wasn't
fight?
even- I wasn't-
No, that's right. Yeah, you were.
I
football and
just
everything.
lost my job at the adult bookstore. You know,
Which that would have been a great sponsor right there. Would have been the adult bookstore.
The thing with, if you're going
Sponsored
to,
by Humbias.
if you're going to a place like that, a nightclub, a bar, or anything like that, and asking them for sponsors, tell them you'll come have your after party there,
right?
because they're gonna be more than willing, not always, but to give you $100, $150 or whatever. If you tell them you're coming back with 20 people who are gonna each spend $30 and $40,
So they're doubling their money hand over fist at that point.
Yeah, over the
gotcha.
years, I've gotten a little bit better at selling sponsors, but it's still, I mean, it's different now, like trying to sell sponsors for the podcast and then selling for a fighter. It's, you know, it's a little bit different. I got to sell clicks. You know, what would you pay for 40,000 clicks?
We call
logo?
that clickbait.
Yeah, I know. So, you primarily deal with female fighters. Why exactly female fighters?
Okay. I started covering. This is like the most asked question ever.
Is it okay?
I started I used to be 300 pounds. I lost 125 in a year.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks. I put it on since my hip surgery, but that'll come off. My coach was female. When I decided I wanted to fight, it was Jessica I, Rachel DeVideo, females working with me. That's why I started covering women's MMA and women's fitness as kind of like the payback. Like, I'd Facebook message a guy and be like, hey, can you help me with this? Sure, $50. Do the same thing to a female? Sure, I don't mind helping you, and I appreciate that you would ask a woman. So it went from there. That's how it got into the female stuff. And then Caitlin Young, my all-time favorite fighter. I watched her fight Gina Carano, and Caitlin made me a fan of women's MMA. And that's when I got really, really into it. And now, when I started managing, it was just because it was females that asked me, but it's more fun. And, you know, like I tell everyone, our LFA is supposed to be a big organization, the lead into, and a lot of their fighters go to the UFC. Or look at Bellator. Bellator had an event Friday night. What was their main event?
Right.
Invicta has a show. The hardcore fans know everybody that's on that show, or at least have heard of them. The hardcore fans right now could not tell you who was the main event on Bellator because it was 2 men. The women are probably because there's less of them, but still more identifiable. And just easier. And I'm not because I'm not doing it because it's easy, but it's easier and it's just more enjoyable. The guys, like, no disrespect, but they're all the same. They don't stand out. Females kind of just, you know, stand out more. Like, you know, I'll use Amanda Freilich as an example. You don't see 2 people that look like Amanda Freilich. You just don't see 2 of them. You got the guys on the LFA main event. There's 100 other people that look exactly like them and probably have the same skill level.
Have you ever thought about managing?
I
fighters?
do actually. Andrew Law. I just started with Andrew.
No.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. A couple months ago.
Did you reach out to him, or did he reach out to you, or was it because of Amanda?
Well, I had started with Amanda probably like 2 weeks before that. But he messaged me. I mean, like, me and Andrew have never been like good friends, but we've seen each other at however many events.
Right.
He reached out to me, and like, I'm open to managing guys as long as they fit into what I'm doing. Like, I don't deal with like troublemakers. If you're gonna make me look bad, you know, get to step in.
Right. Yeah.
And I like that mine, like, everyone roots for him. Like, when I used to work for NAAFS, I'd have managers send me their rosters, and there'd be 40 fighters on the roster, and like, I only knew that guy managed 2 of them. None of them care about each other, and he only cares about his top ones. I like mine, like, everyone roots for each other. Like Jillian's last Invicta fight, I had 10 people 10 other fighters I manage Snapchatting the fight and, you know, posting all this stuff. So when Andrew reached out, I know Andrew enough to know he's someone I'd never in my life worry about. So I went up.
A good guy.
I went up there to talk to him as a formality thing.
Right.
But I assume it was because I was managing Amanda that kind of made him think about it.
Yeah, that's why I said that, was because I know Amanda has been training at Route 250, where Andrew is at and is a coach at. So I figured the 2 and 2 had something.
So I never ask anybody about managing. I don't. If someone comes to me, I'll talk to you. But maybe 2 of the people I manage, I've actually reached out to them.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty much like the way that you're explaining everything is I'm just dumbing this down for myself, and that's for the most part you have your own, let's call it a fight team for lack of better words, of the people that you manage.
Or
even
roster.
though a roster. You know, they all fight for, you know, some people may fight for a different fight team and stuff like that, but yet they all still root for each other. So it's almost like a family
In a
event.
sense, I mean, there's the one that I mentioned that got me started along with Stephanie. most of the girls I managed had never liked her, but nobody likes her. But so like if she fought, no one really cared.
There's still going to be an ugly duckling in every group. I'm telling you.
But
I'm the
for the
you
most
know.
part, yeah. If they, like if they fight, like, just the other day, won her Muay Thai fight in Australia, and everybody's messaging her congratulations or commenting "way to go." Or the other night, I added a new fighter from Hawaii. She's an amateur.
Did you announce it or did you save it for us?
No, I announced it. She hasn't even made.
Come on.
No one's heard of her because she's just now getting ready for her amateur debut.
Announce it.
I say announce it again.
Yeah, say it now.
Her name's Erin Terranova, but I post like
Aloha.
that, and everybody comments, "Welcome to the team" and all that stuff, and I like that.
Oh, yeah. All right, one question I'm curious. Okay, so it's very difficult for a female fighter nowadays to find a fight. I mean, like with Tirza Gunther, for example. I mean, she's got a lot of experience, but her record, she's what, 2-0?
No.
And then how many people have dropped out or canceled? I mean, or declined the fight? I mean, it's very difficult nowadays for a female mixed martial artist to find a fight. You have 27 on your roster. Do they ever fight each other?
I'd be 100% open to it. And the reason I say that is I've got a shitload of 135s who are at the same level. Like
So it's going to happen.
like Serena and Shamir Peshewa. Say that 10 times fast, by the way.
Shewa?
They both just made their pro debuts at 135. That's a very logical fight, and I'd be 100% open to it. And I've told both of them I'd be open to it, and I'd bust my ass for one, and I'd bust my ass for the other. And when it's over, I'd call and congratulate the winner, and call and listen to the loser, yell at me because they always do. So I'd be 100% open to it. Even when I started, I had mostly 105s. And back then there was no 105s.
So how often is it that you sign a new client and you go immediately to running through your head like, oh my God, that would be a great fight between this person and this person?
I honestly, it doesn't much enter my mind. Everyone at 135 lately has gone up to 45 or 25. So there's not, while 135 used to be the big one, it's not no more.
Why do you think that is? I mean, is it like the level of competition at 35 is just too good?
No,
or?
I think it's really hard to pinpoint, but I think a lot of them now are worried less about cutting or wanting to cut less, so they're doing the 45s. And then I think the ones going to 1 and down to 25 were small 135s.
Okay.
And
More avenues.
Right.
And, at the time too, you had to be 135 if you ever wanted to be in the UFC.
Right.
You don't have to be 135 anymore, because honestly, 135's not even their best division anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we had an atomweight fight not too long ago. Have you had any of those?
Yeah,
He's got a
Oh,
ton
okay,
of
sorry.
105s,
The two
yeah.
that I started with
105s.
were both. The two that I started
idiot.
with were both 105s. And
I got hung up on the 135 section.
Jillian, my one that's in Invicta, she's a 105.
Now, it's not there's not an official weight class above 145. I mean, like you have to
There-
agree at that point, right?
No, they
It
actually
depends on the promotion.
they actually they'll call it, they'll go with like the men's weight classes, but really it's like
Heavyweight.
yeah, pretty much they just call everything over 55 like heavyweight.
Because I've seen female fight at like 200 plus before.
They
I mean, you don't see it a lot, but I have seen it before. And
Those-
then I've seen like, was it Christina Edwards and Tirza Gunther? They met at what weight?
65, I
Yeah,
think.
something,
Yeah, they'll at that size, at that weight too. It's even harder to find anybody, obviously.
yeah.
So a lot of times, what they'll do is they'll call it a 170, or they'll call it like a 200, and just as long as you're around 200. So it could be 198 against 170. Well, they're both underweight.
Which is kind of,
That's surprising.
I mean, I'm not out to offend anybody. I mean, don't be wrong. I'm sure I'm going to offend somebody, but like, no.
Don't you
say-
go there.
No,
Don't you do
know
it.
How they say like
You're
the
gonna do it.
average, like the average female is 165, right? Isn't that like an accurate weight that they say the average? And you would think that like, if that's the average, you'd get more females that are. They'd actually have a weight class.
I think when they say that's the average non-athlete.
I've got
Yeah.
But to go from 65 and a 20-pound cut to 45, and that's a new division.
Yeah.
I've got her name's Liv Parker. She's an undefeated amateur. She's actually Shamir's teammate. They're from Knoxville MMA. They're teammates with Owen St. Preux. And Liv lost 125 pounds. And
Shit.
through that got into fighting, and she's like wrecking people. She's a 170. But if she had the surgery that I had to remove like the loose skin, get her 155, no problem.
Yeah.
But you know, she's a 170, and no one wants to fight her because A, it's hard to find fights at that weight, and B, she'll kill you. And so it's not always because they're, you know, a lot of them are that weight, but they're getting lower because they only started fighting because they're like, oh, that cardio kickboxing class looks fun.
Yeah.
And that's how they realized, like,
Ooh, why are they wearing pajamas? What's that?
Yoga.
after a few months of that, they're like, all right, maybe a face would be a better target. So
Oh, great.
Exactly.
I'm tired of kicking people in the gut.
well, that's I'm bugging. I've been bugging the hell out of Risen. I want Liv to go fight Gabby Garcia. Liv will beat the shit out of that girl. She just will. No, Gabby's got great jiu-jitsu, but she's, you know, got the stand-up of an infant. Liv would kill her. So I would love to get her in Risen to go fight Gabby.
How tall's Liv?
5, I don't know, 9,
Oh,
maybe.
Oh, he's just tall for a girl. He's taller than me.
Yeah. You know, hey.
But Liv,
I was looking at Gabby Garcia's size. That's why if she's anything over 5'7", do it.
Liv would destroy her. I would bet anything on that. I don't have anything, but if I did, I'd bet it. But they won't obviously take that fight because they're not going to give her anyone good. But that's another story.
It's their circus show money. So who's been the most difficult person you've ever had to manage?
Why do you have to go there?
I'll go there actually because I don't manage her anymore.
And why?
I'm not going to say her name, but everybody.
You're trying to milk the name out of them, aren't you?
Everybody who knows me, who's listening, will know who I'm talking about. I managed 2 fighters. They were actually girlfriends, lived together and everything. Everyone right now already knows who I'm talking about, who knows me. And the one I'm with still. The other one was a all about me kind of person. As an example, someone else I managed at the time, we had accepted a fight in Florida. Her opponent, her coach then came to us and asked to fight this girl 2 weeks beforehand. I said, no, that can't happen. You have a signed contract to fight the other one, and there's no fight 30 days before it.
Yeah.
Just contractually, you cannot. That's not happening. She called me, bitching me out. Why would you turn that down? You can't turn that down. It's like, whether I want you to take the fight or not is irrelevant.
Yeah.
You contractually can't. And it turned into a big fight. And, you know, her 2-10 record indicates where her career has gone since then.
They
Ouch!
still let you fight with that record?
She's in the tournament that my girl's going to be winning that I mentioned earlier.
Oh, okay.
That is a weird setup for a tournament, though.
No, it's actually interesting, and
It makes
I think
it
there's
makes
going to be a lot
sense.
more. I think with like
That's-
now that Bellator is doing a lot more like kind of like Grand Prix stuff.
Where
I mean, hell, they're doing the. I was telling Brian about this. Chris Miles is, I guess, just by reading posts that he's been putting out, I guess he's training for the National Amateur Championships.
Really?
I don't know. I would imagine it's like a tournament style MMA.
So it's like a
competition.
last man standing type deal.
The
Well,
win-
just
well,
a
yeah.
tournament type.
winner's getting $10,000, which for
Yeah.
a regional, the promotion, I wouldn't call them regional. They're doing really good stuff, but it's in one state. It's regional. For regional promotion, a $10,000 payday would be.
And that's
That's
those are
unheard of.
pros, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's, well, I guess for a pro, not so much, but that's still kind of unheard of.
$10,000. I mean, hell,
That's
like,
that's a
no, that's-
car
that's-
payment changing
no,
type.
$10,000 for a pro, especially like a newer pro.
It's almost
Yeah.
double
is-
what a
yeah,
really
it's
good
good.
Well, yeah,
makes,
yeah.
if
Yeah.
not a little more. So with the boxing, kickboxing, MMA, do they change their gloves?
Yeah, they even have a ring. They're even gonna have a ring and cage set up. So like the boxing and kickboxing, it's gonna be in the boxing ring with all the boxing stuff. And then when they go to MMA for the finals, they'll move it into
So
the
it's not, really,
cage.
it's not really 3 rounds. It's like 3 mini fights.
Three, not many. They're
Well, because you don't have time to change gloves.
yeah,
and
but it's
so
it's
not
a
like
one. It's a
not like
tournament,
minute-
and
it's
there'll
not
be
like a
other
minute break.
fights sprinkled in between it. So,
Okay.
first round is three 3-minute boxing rounds.
Okay.
Second round of the tournament is either 2 or 3-minute kickboxing rounds, and the finals are 3 MMA
Okay.
5-minute
So when you
rounds.
said, I was picturing like you had one boxing round,
No.
Then
then
one.
you kickboxed.
No.
That's why I'm like, man, they must have a crew that is really
Right.
fast.
It's actually Stephanie doing that's one thing she needed. She's like, I need boxing shoes because I have to wear boxing shoes, and I've never worn those before.
I mean, it does showcase a lot of your competitive nature and your how well rounded the competitor is. You know, I think that is going to be something that I would enjoy to see. That's for damn sure.
Plus, something like that's going to open up boxing and kickboxing if those fighters are into it too.
Right.
So,
And It's very cool. I'm very excited about it. The only thing that's weird is she's gonna win her first round fight because she's fighting the 2-10 girl. So she's in the second round already, pretty much. And if she's in the second round, she'll be fighting her coach if her coach wins in the first round.
Oh wow.
So that'll be kind of
That's different.
It's not her head coach. It's the wife of the head coach who also is a very good pro fighter and helps teach and train at the gym. So
And for $10,000, man, I mean, fuck it, right?
you know what, they actually fought before she became her coach. They've
okay.
actually fought before, and now they're training together. So
rematch.
I don't think it would cause any problems or anything.
Right.
Speaking about like local and stuff, what do you think about local MMA in this area now?
Ohio
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
used to be great, still good. You know, I went to the honor show where Kate was fighting. I thought that was very good. Looks like that's something that could, I hate to say become what NAAFS was. I hate to say it like that.
Fill the void. Fill
But
that-
yeah, but if I'm a local fighter, I kind of almost prefer to go fight in a surrounding state, especially if I'm an amateur. I mean, I know the same day weigh-ins has been there forever, but like it's more and more people don't want to do that,
Yeah.
and I think some rules need to change
Yeah.
to keep the local fighters from going to other places.
Right.
You know, I went to New York for my fight. I had to get blood work and a physical. At my age, if I'd have done it in Ohio, I'd have needed my brain scan.
15
I'd
grand
need to
worth
see
of
if my
medicals,
my
yeah.
arm needs amputated or not. I'd do a colon cleanse, check my bowel move, like everything. New York, I had to go get a physical and a blood test. And
Right.
so, yeah, it was a 10-hour drive, but it was a whole lot cheaper to get my ass kicked there than it was would be to get my ass kicked here.
A lot of the rule changes in Ohio lately have kind of made a lot of people raise an eyebrow.
Like I don't mind the weight variance when you weigh into the next day, kind of a thing. But the part that I don't understand is if you have a pro am card pros weigh in at night, and then they weigh in again the next day with the amateurs, because they're worried about the health and everything else for the pro fighters. Okay,
let
but if
the
it's an
amateurs
all
do
pro,
that.
if it's an all pro card, they don't weigh in again. Well, where's the
Right.
concern then?
Right.
Well, not
Maybe it's
only-
because the OAC doesn't have to be there.
well, not only that though, but if they're doing that,
And then
why,
you don't pay them twice.
why can't the amateurs just weigh in that same way? Because they're
Yeah.
to me, it's as long as they're on, the same weight the next day. If two 135 dudes are fighting and they both are 140 the next day, then why the hell did they have to wait till today to weigh in when they could have done it last night?
Yeah.
So my question is then with the Pro-Am cards, when you have the OAC come out, you actually have to pay them as the promotion, correct?
They get, they have a fee. They're not paid like each time they show up.
It's
Oh,
different
okay.
for amateur cards and then pro-ams, right?
Well, that's what I was getting at, was that for amateur cards, they have to go in the same day and weigh in. So they're paying probably a significantly smaller fee than what they would for a Pro-Am card where they have to be there for 2 days.
I think is it just an insurance thing?
It's insurance, but the OAC also has a certain amount that they require you to pay.
Right.
Because they have to pay the referees, the judges, the officials,
Okay.
All that, and they all get paid. I'm not sure if it's a different amount
Okay.
if it's a pro-am or just an all pro.
Okay.
Because all pro, you would think they get more money, but they're doing less.
Right.
But there's not a lot of all pro anything in Ohio. So UFC was, I think, the last one in a long time in Cleveland.
Now it's at the
With
Nautica as
Stipe.
well, wasn't
No, that was at the Q.
it? The Q? Okay.
Right.
That's
Well,
then that's when I was like, are they gonna have to weigh in the next day? Like, 'cause I'm pretty sure they're not gonna be
Well,
having
that's-
that shit.
Right.
And
Well,
Bernie
that's
was like, no, it's just pro-am cards.
That UFC though, that just shows more of the double standard they have with Ohio. Like, I'm gonna be upfront. Everyone wants to rip on CM Punk. I've gotten along great with him before he got into MMA. I was very happy for him to fight. That being said, he got to get his pro license and make his pro debut there. If anyone else tried to get their pro debut license and make their pro debut with his experience, Ohio would say no.
Yeah.
Ohio turns down fights for the stupidest reasons, but they let CM Punk make his pro debut with no experience whatsoever.
We just had that kind of problem 2 cards ago for the little burn.
Oh, yeah.
Got shut down because of a burn.
Well, that fight, it wouldn't even. We're talking about like before it even gets to that point. Like
Yeah.
they bring it up to the OAC, go, "Hey, we want this fight to happen," and they go, "No." Or a
Oh,
fighter
okay.
goes, "I want to make my pro." Like if I wanted to make my pro debut in Ohio, you have to have 9 amateur fights and a
Right.
winning record. You got to be consistent. I haven't fought in 8 years, but I have a winning record with 9 fights. I wouldn't be able to get my pro card right now because I haven't
Okay.
fought in 8 years. It wouldn't make any
So
sense.
you would have to fight like 2
So
or 3
basically-
fights before that would happen, right?
Something like I'd have to win, maybe get a title, but like then you got CM Punk, who's got no MMA experience. I mean, maybe
Jiu-jitsu.
trains some jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Right.
as
Pro
far as
wrestling.
fighting goes, he's got no amateur MMA career. He's a professional wrestler. It would
Applied
make
for his pro card. and
got his
it.
pro card, got it approved, and then fought in the biggest UFC promotion,
Right.
sorry, the biggest MMA promotion being the UFC. I mean, you got to, if you think about it, the UFC, like the NFL of
Yeah,
fucking
yeah, yeah.
MMA, you have what, 1 million amateur and professional fighters in North America alone. We don't know millions worldwide, and then you have like how many, couple hundred fighters in the UFC or something like that.
Right.
The percentage of somebody that could they could go their whole life fighting amateur and pro MMA
And never be seen.
make it to the UFC. Then
Right.
you get a guy who goes, "Oh, I'm gonna get my pro
That's-
card."
I'll sell tickets.
To be clear,
Right.
I'm not against the UFC giving him the fight.
Right.
To me, it was smart.
Yeah.
Made him money.
Oh yeah, it's a money. It was it was a money. Just like
so-
Brock Lesnar is the same thing with Brock Lesnar as well.
Brock's pretty legit though.
Yes.
But so I'm not against him getting the fight. I'm not against him fighting. I'm not against any of it. But it's a double standard.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like unfair when you have Nick Brashear 7-0 denied. Go get one more fight, then I'll let you.
Right.
Hey, how many titles did he have?
2 or 3.
It was 3.
Two.
on
He
it.
had 2 at the time, right? And then he won
Yeah.
his third one.
Well, I
Yeah.
got into there's a matchmaker in Kansas who I actually get along with him, but me and him were talking on Facebook the one day, and I was about some stupid kind of fight. I don't even remember. But I told him that, you know, Ohio's as strict as it gets. And he's like, that's weird considering some of the fights I've seen in Ohio. I said, you know, whatever. He's like, well, I got a 5-1 amateur right now and no one will fight him. I'm turning him pro. I said, that's how strict Ohio is.
Couldn't do
They
it.
would laugh at him if he tried to turn pro in Ohio.
Yeah.
You have to drive to Youngstown and tell them why you want to go pro.
Right. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to look pretty and tell you why.
It's also like a lot of fights too. Like it, dude. Some of the shit that happens in the OAC in Ohio, like you'll get one promotion because there's favoritism, and I don't care who. For
sure.
You can't deny this. I mean, you got one promotion that'll try to get a fight, and they'll decline it, and then another promotion will do the same exact fight, and it'll get approved, and it's like, different matchmaker, different promotion.
It's happened twice
And it's-
in the
yeah,
last
it's-
6 months.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, then my
exactly.
question is what about those promotions that have the same matchmaker and then one doesn't get approved and the other one does?
It won't.
Okay, so then it has to be the different matchmaker.
It's the commission knows who you match for.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They're not going to make it seem too biased.
But at the same time, it's going to be very blatant behind the
Well,
scenes.
it's 60 miles south, so
Oh man.
It's totally different.
what do you think about this bare knuckle boxing?
What do I think about it?
Do you have any girls that want to do it?
I've got none of my fighters have expressed interest. I've got a couple friends who have done it. One's on the next big one coming up. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I don't have a pro or con really argument, but it's not going to be as big as some people like, this is going to be the next big thing. No, it's not. It's going to be a nice little thing. It's not going to be the next big thing.
Right.
It's just not. It's because the reality is, like, who you're using as far as like the big names, you know, like I saw Joe Riggs is going to be on the next one. No disrespect to Joe Riggs, but if Joe Riggs could still be active and competitive in MMA, that's where Joe Riggs would be.
Right.
Yeah.
People
I would
out-
say it was like the washed up UFC fighters.
And it's not all that. Like,
you
you know, like coming up, one of the female fights is Christine Ferreira and Jennifer Tate. Jennifer Tate, you know, she's been around a long time. She hasn't fought in a while, but, you know, she goes back to like the old school, but she can still bang. And Christine, I mean, she just fought in Invicta. I mean, she's still active. Just so there's some who are transitioning or at least trying to do both. But your main guys, like your main events, like I said, Joe Riggs, like no disrespect to Joe Riggs, but
Right. I think it's a.
Is this your last stop?
It's a money grab for some people too.
Yeah.
It's a fight, and they're getting paid for it.
and the thing is too is like if it becomes successful, then you're gonna see so many other people try to promote it, and so many other people, and it's just gonna get quickly not exciting. Like you can watch it every week.
Right.
No one's gonna care.
It's gonna be.
It's going to lose its
It's gonna be real popular at first.
I think what'll keep it around for a little while is that there's going to be states that will not let it happen. Like I don't see Ohio letting any promoter do a bare knuckle boxing match. You can't fight MMA without having hand wraps.
Yeah.
So how are you? You know, it's
I mean, it opens up a whole new world of, you know, blood testing has to be done. It's mandatory because you're going to be opening up wounds on each other. There's absolutely no
Blood
way.
testing's a mandatory thing anyway.
But at the same time, the infections and everything else, this is going to be, I mean, you're getting sweat introduced into the wounds immediately, and you're
I'm
constantly
pretty
gonna be
sure
looking.
that you have to, even in the bare knuckle boxing,
gotta
you
get-
still have to wrap your hands.
I think it's the wrist. That's not
Yeah,
the
it's not
knuckles.
the yeah.
No, that's why it's called bare knuckle.
When it's, I get that, but I just mean without a glove.
Like, all it takes is one good clean shot to the bottom jaw, and you're going to open up your fucking knuckle. It's going to happen because you're going to be able
Oh,
to
yeah,
contact
more
directly
people
to
are
your
going to
teeth.
break their hands. More people are going to. There's going to be more injuries, and
Right.
that's why it's like
It's too
you're
much
not
of a
gonna
risk.
you're not going to see a lot of active MMA fighters who have potential UFC careers.
Right.
Like you're not going to see like the John Gunthers, the Jeff Hughes, the guys, the Devontae Smiths that are now going into the UFC. You're not going to see them in bare knuckle boxing.
Hopefully not.
Right.
Shit.
I mean, if they did it would be dumb if they did, because you're gonna introduce yourself to a lot more.
Although I
You're
would
gonna be
pay-
more susceptible to.
I would pay a good amount of money for Jeff Hughes to go to bare knuckle boxing and fight Fat Gambicho.
Is he actually doing bare knuckle
No,
boxing?
he made that
Is-
shit up.
Yeah, okay.
He made it up. Like just like he was on the the fight team.
Here's the thing with that, and like everyone knows my thoughts on Trapopotamus, but like the first picture he did wasn't even the logo of the promotion he claimed he was talking to. He had the wrong one. That's first off. Second off, I'll be honest, I want him to. I want him to be telling the truth, and I want him to fight, because if you look at his Twitter, he does not realize if you do a pro bare knuckle boxing fight, you're pro in everything.
Yeah.
He wrote on that post he's going to do that, but he won't be turning pro in MMA for a while. I want him just to see the look on that face when he realizes, shit, I can only fight pros now. So I hope he's not telling the truth. He doesn't know how, but I hope he's telling the truth.
I just want to no pun intended, but I kind of want to just trap the guy. You know, like when he did that jiu-jitsu tournament and he was like, yeah, second place, but there was only one other person. I was like, I want to know like the time and place where he's doing a tournament, and then just show up unannounced, like, hey, I'm here to do the super heavyweight. I know I'm not in the super heavyweight weight bracket, but I want to do the super heavyweight. And actually, just to compete against them, you know,
Well,
like it'd be nice.
There's a Facebook group that
Midwest
messaged
Legend.
that actually were messaged the One Fight team and everything else, and they're like,
It's all that.
they pretty much just call it as bullshit on everything.
Yeah.
So
And yeah, even no matter how many people call this bullshit, he still has fans. He still has
It's
people.
not-
That's the reason why. It's
You know
because
what? If you look at everyone who, the people who write to him or comment, way to go, they fall into a couple categories. His mom, the people who used to buy the weed from him, people in Japan who love,
The show,
Godzilla and
circus,
all that
yeah.
stuff. They love. Bob Sapp was popular in Japan for a reason. Those, or the like very lonely guys who sat alone and watched her stupid videos, and therefore root for him. They fall into one of those four categories. Like they're not. That's not fans.
I'm lonely, Mr.
Like, and
Lonely. So pretty much they're putting on lipstick inside their mirror and
mean,
talking about who they're going to kill from their high school.
Everybody knows my thoughts on him, and that's why like I'm not going to rehash things that I've put out there about him, but I can prove everything I put out about him. But like, there's more that I've not even said, and that's like when he came after me, like you need to pick your battles much better. And then, but you lie, and then you get caught in your lie. When he started that shit with me, and I went back at him, all these fighters started like defending me, and he started messaging all of them.
why are you picking on me?
Yeah, please don't believe the lies Jason says. I'm just a good guy who's trying to support my wife, and blah 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 blah. Like, then shut up.
It's very simple.
If you shut up, I don't have to say anything. And no one else has to say anything. But like, don't you talk your shit, and then people are way better at it than you.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're like, Mister, I'm innocent. I don't know why these people are coming after me. Like the other day, he went after Nick Newell, the fighter with one arm. No reason whatsoever. Tweeted at him, said he called him a freak show. Well, Nick replied, and then Nick's got a lot of fans. They all replied. And then Ashley had to run her mouth and get involved, so they went after her. And her replies, "This is a beef between two men. Why you come after me?" Well, shut up.
Yeah.
And
Stay the fuck out of it.
and he starts writing on Twitter how he's being bullied. You made fun of a man with one arm who's still out there fighting at a professional level, doing great, called him a freak show, and it comes back at you and you're being bullied?
So he has a constant victim complex.
Like, when all this was going on, him and Ashley started saying it was because I just didn't like them because I wouldn't let Ashley manage. Well, Ashley wouldn't let me manage her. 1, I wouldn't manage you. 2, I wouldn't manage you. 3, I really wouldn't manage you. Like, and I can prove.
I don't think he would manage her.
Well, like everything I said, like when the way she reached out to me after claiming she schooled Zomchek and Evolve didn't want her anymore, and I went back, got all those messages, posted them everywhere. Please post one message where I asked to manage Ashley.
Right.
Post one. That's why everyone's like, you should sue him and go after him. I'm like, please, I want you to sue me because you're gonna look stupid as hell. And then I like all his friends. I know they were like, I blocked him, but all his friends were like looking at my posts and everything. I said, go ahead and ask him why he isn't suing me because I know you're all watching. Said he's not suing me because A, he knows I can prove everything I said. B, he knows I'll go back at him for all the stuff he said that he can't prove. It's just same with like the guy she was ripping off when she was supposed to be wrestling and making him eggs.
Right. Session wrestling or whatever.
I like making. I got a hobby. I like to take Trap's Twitter videos and I like to edit them into like funny music videos.
I saw the one.
So I actually get some enjoyment out of it. I try to keep a low profile. I'm not worried about Trap watching this unless somebody knows Trap and is watching the podcast and then decides to tag him in it or something. I think he's blocked me, to be honest with you. But
Blocks everybody.
Yeah.
I'm not.
blocked
But
on everything.
I honestly don't know. But that's why I got invited to that group. I was like, oh, thank God.
The thing is, if he would just have been like, hey, I'd love to fight one day. Can somebody help me? Like, people might have supported him. Like,
Right.
there's no need at all to lie about everything. Just like there's a thread on one of those stupid websites about all the time she's ripped dudes off.
I've actually seen that before. Yeah.
And she's and he comments on his like, oh, they were all lying. We settled out of court with all them. What? You settled out of court? They were
Well, if they're lying, then why the hell are you
no.
settling?
He's saying they paid him.
Oh, okay.
Because they were all lying. Like, they have any reason to. These dudes are going to, you think they're going to go on a session website where they admit that they pay money to roll around with girls and nothing or anything like that just to lie about you? They're going to embarrass the hell out of themselves just to lie about you? No.
I always laugh like he's got Ashley out third trimester, man. She's pregnant, out on the strip, still trying to make money. You know,
She's
put
just
her ass to work.
She's just shadow boxing now because when she was fighting,
Well,
apparently
even-
a couple people put it on her ass,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, you're going too hard," which I would have loved to see. Of course, there's no videos of that. But
You know what we need to do? You know, we get the
Go to
Vegas. Clip. No,
Go to Vegas?
You get
Dude,
the clip
I could
of her
only
fighting.
imagine Norman Vegas.
No. Get the clip of Ashley getting knocked out, and then right before the leg kick happens, slow mo it and play the Titanic theme.
Doo-doo-doo.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just because it'd be beautiful. That's a good idea. Actually, I'm gonna do that. I think
Like,
I'm gonna
here's the
post
thing.
that.
It's Celine Dion,
I'll
by the
give
way.
credit to anyone who
Yeah.
actually gets in there. Like, I'll give her credit for that. But, like, immediately posting on social media after, I want my rematch. Bitch, are you even awake yet? You don't want a rematch right now. But I'll give her credit. She got in there.
Yeah.
She
Well,
got in there because
she got
he
more
won't.
respect. Yeah, I got more respect for Ashley than her dude, man.
But she got in there because she has his fat ass saying, "You're so good. You're the next Ronda Rousey. We're fighting where Ronda Rousey started. Blah blah blah. Yeah, you're an okay grappler because you're horrible at it. She's strong. She looks strong. But everyone I know the 4 people that had grappled her in the grappling tournaments that she did said she's just hard to grapple with because she just trots around in a circle and you
It
can't
is.
get a
If you
hold of her.
watch the videos, that's all she does. And that's if you watch his. His was pretty much the same thing, although he didn't have the energy to trot. But
Just wobbled.
like,
Just wallowed.
but like, watch her videos. You know, that's all she does. She just keeps going in circles. Like, I'm waiting for her to like duck, and then goose.
I can watch their in-house training videos down in Worcester and just laugh or when Trap's punching someone because he was picking on another fighter going too hard. It's oh man,
But he was the victim. Remember that. He's always the victim.
just of diabetes.
Oh Jesus.
The diabetes.
That's like I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna say anything. Like everything that I've said before, it's out there. I've never deleted it. Like he does, he'll talk shit and delete it. So like everyone knows my feelings on him and everything, but like you lie for the sake of lying. It's like there's
Like-
no.
He came after me and was talking shit. And I was like, let's just fight. Me and you will fight. I'll fight you wherever.
I'll fight
And
you.
then the guy Yankee Lake tried to match it up. And I was like, yes. Went to Trav. He goes, he wants this amount of money. He wants 75% of your ticket sales, but he can have all my ticket sales. All of them.
I will pay him
Like
personally.
whatever he says, I do it. I'm fine with it. I'm just gonna fight him. I'll start putting on weight. Shit's going down. And then of course he was like, oh well, no, I don't want to fight.
It's like
Because you called his bluff.
Right, then he unblocks me, talks about the shit. I reply, and I'm like, "You could have fought me. You had your chance. I'm above you. Like, like I'm still gonna make fun of you because you're a funny dude to make fun of. But if you're not going to fight me, then just shut the fuck up."
that's what he like. I still like occasionally write stuff on my site, just like results and everything. And I watched where her head got punted, so I posted the results. He sends me this. I hadn't heard from him in months. Then he sends me this long message. You pussy motherfucker, because that's what everyone is. You're being biased, blah, blah, blah. This. When I see you, I'm going to slap you. Believe that. And then blocks me before I could reply.
Right.
A, you ain't slapping nobody. B,
I'm gonna slap
don't
you.
write to me and then block me before I can reply, because that just makes you look like a pussy.
Well,
I'm not gonna hit you. I'm gonna slap you.
I imagine going down this this fat Gambino rabbit hole. He's gonna see it now because someone's
hope
gonna
so.
clip this shit and send it to him. So hell, I might even clip this entire segment and post it on. And then here you guys put it on that group and go, here you guys go. Someone's gonna send it to him. Someone's gonna reply. We might actually get some fans off this shit.
Well,
I'll tell
it's
you
like-
what.
You should.
When he way back when he first came after me, like, just come here right now. I'll kill you, and end your misery. Never any interest in that. But when he finds out I had my hip replaced, that's when all of a sudden he'll have a boxing match with me. He's in Las Vegas. I'm in Ohio, because it would do really big. There'd be a lot of interest. Cool, you're finally man enough to fight when the dude just had his hip replaced. B, there is no interest. No one cares to watch me fight. No one cares to watch you fight. Stop.
Is he a pro?
No.
He's a
No.
nothing.
He
Okay,
is
so that's
nothing.
what I'm trying to figure out here. Is this? I don't know him.
It would be hard to get him approved to get an amateur fight in Ohio
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
because all the people that want to fight, there's a line of fucking.
Yeah, like
So
Honestly,
he's a pot
he
stirrer. Is all
can
he
listen.
is.
He can make more money if he came to Ohio and set up a sanctioned event where he would sit in a cage or a ring and just do 1 minute rounds with everybody who wanted to fight him and charge people $20. He'd make more money in that one event than he's probably making in a year hustling his wife out to people.
He
Okay,
the
so
first-
this is okay.
First time he ever went at me, he did a Facebook post about me, and Sarah McLeod, she's Sarah Shell now, but Sarah McLeod, she's fought for NAAFS. She's a 115-pound girl that hits like a 170-pound girl. Sarah's like a manager, and B, like, we're family almost. She commented defending me. Ashley has no idea who she is, and she's like, well, if you want to defend him, maybe me and you can get into it. Sarah will murder her, like tie her arms behind her back and still murder her. And Sarah knows it. She's like, "Oh, bless your heart, that's so cute." But I'm a pro fighter, and if we fought, it'd be really bad for you. 5 minutes later, Ashley apologizes. Trap sends her a friend request.
Oh
like-
my god.
If I'm such a, according to him, I'm a fetish creep because I manage all females. If I'm a fetish creep because I manage all females, why are you sending every female I manage a friend request?
Right.
And dick pics.
You like this?
There's not enough people out there to hold his gut up, take a dick pic.
The last time he messaged me, he was like, "You sent Ashley dick pics and said this is what a real man's cock looks like." And I go,
Please tell me you did.
I did. Did you? No, he goes, and he's like, "Yeah, it was some big black penis." And I'm like, "I wish I would have done that. I don't remember. I would take credit for that. That's funny as fuck."
Oh god, dude, that's
And I'm trying to think. I'm like, did I do that? Like, I want to say I did that.
You're looking through like the hundreds of girls you sent dick pics to. No, she's not there.
They'll change. Like the night I lost, she was writing on Twitter making fun of me, and Rachel DeVideo, who Brian knows will murder a girl. She was there cornering me, and Andrea Warrow was another female fighter. She was there cornering me. Rachel, if like you call me anything bad, Rachel's gonna come kill you. So Rachel and Andrea went back at her. All of a sudden, she's like, "Oh no, that wasn't about you. That was about someone else." Then the next night, Trap sends me a Facebook message. "Yeah, dude, that wasn't about you." He's like, "That Brian Raymond guy, he manages a fighter who lost that night, and it was about him." I said, "No, it wasn't. His fight was 2 nights ago." Like, yeah, but she didn't get around to it right away. Like, shut up. And then he sent me a friend request.
He doesn't even know your real last name.
Well, it's because his name.
I know it's Brian Raymond Clark, but still.
Well, and then at the time, like, I did the little not Lord of the Rings, but the Game of Thrones shit, and it changed my last name to Stark, right? Because that was
Yeah,
the house that I went to.
remember that.
And then I couldn't change it back for like 7 months. So it was Brian Raymond Stark, and I was like, I'll take it, sweet. I'll legally change it to that. I
Well,
like
it's
it.
funny, yeah, because I thought that's what your name was for like the longest time when I first met you.
That's
but-
they're probably like she runs. Her mouth's gonna get her in trouble. Like Rachel, for example, Rachel, a certain ex of mine that Brian knows. After we ended shit, Rachel was in Ohio. She wanted to drive to Pennsylvania to that girl's grappling tournament and beat the hell out of her in Pennsylvania. Like that's the problem is they talk shit and don't know who they're talking to, and then
She's like, Rachel, we know where she trains.
he was calling out Phil Baroni the other night on Twitter. He was talking shit to Phil Baroni and said, "If you're ever man enough, come to Vegas."
I'll be on my
Phil
airplane.
Baroni can punch you. He can be in New York, punch you in Vegas, and still connect and knock you the fuck out.
That's one Stretch Armstrong.
Well, as much as I would love to
Continue.
just this
No.
Trap Gambino trashing that we're
Dude,
going on.
I don't even know this guy, and I want to fight him.
No.
Like I don't. I'm not even. I don't
You
have
gotta
any
get-
trading,
You got to get hip to the videos.
dude. I think I may have seen the
I'm
one
blocked on
video.
Twitter, I'm blocked on Facebook. I'm
Oh,
blocked on
that's
YouTube.
him. The dude with the weird ass freaking punch that you showed me, and you did the video. The
Looks like Andre the Giant, but he's
Yeah.
5'7".
The real big guy, yeah.
yeah, you said that watch his training video, and then it was he like trips and falls or something.
No, it
it wasn't him?
I don't.
Damn.
Well, he never tripped the fall. That would be hilarious if he actually posted something.
I'm
like
not
that.
blocked on anything because I blocked
But,
him just because I was done with it.
But no, that's about it. Wrapping us up, Jason. I want to thank you for coming on,
no
on
problem.
the podcast. A couple quick announcements. I was gonna wait a little bit later to officially announce it on a different segment that we were planning on doing. But Rubber City Throwdown is officially covering boxing now. We're gonna be covering local boxing. We're gonna start with Big Dog Promotions, October 27th, which Amanda Freilich is actually fighting on, and we're also branching out to Cage Thunder. So we'll also be performing fighter interviews on November 21st for Cage Thunder 5. So
There's only one other promotion out here that we're not covering, right?
there's a couple promotions.
there still a
that
couple?
Yeah, we want to branch out short. You know,
Well, yeah, just start out
We don't
small.
want to do too much right now. We're with Honor, and we stayed with Honor, but we don't want to just be Honor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We want to branch out.
There's too many fighters that fight for honor and another promotion.
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
And
then we run into stuff like this where Honor had their fight in August, and then now they're not planning on fighting again until like January or
Right.
something like that.
We need something.
And you know what? The boxing community, I want to get them involved. I know what we've been primarily dealing with at mixed martial arts, and you know, these boxers, these local boxers, they work their ass off for very little appreciation. Like very.
I mean,
little
dude,
notice,
you did your first return back to any kind of competitive fighting,
Yeah,
doing
four big dog actually.
Yeah.
So I want to give these guys some love, man. So we're gonna go in. We're gonna go on October 27th. We're gonna record the event. We're gonna conduct some interviews with some of these guys. We're trying to get Brian Gideon on the podcast as well. I don't know.
I'll confirm with him. Should be, what was it, October 20?
Was it the 23rd or some shit like that? I don't know. I can't remember the exact date. But we're trying to confirm with Brian Gideon. We're trying to get him on there. You know, he's
The 21st.
the 21st.
He actually has a schedule.
He showed out a lot of interest on being on the podcast.
Actually, he was pretty excited about not just being on the podcast, but boxing, you know, getting some light shined on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Because what I said, he agreed, is I think boxing has a pretty big upswing happening right now.
Right.
No pun intended.
There's a lot more people boxing now than there were even just like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly have to say that boxing has been one of those things that is kept underground for the most part, and especially in Ohio for right now. I mean, you really don't have much competitive boxing tournaments
Well, that's the
going
thing.
on lately.
You do. You just
But
don't
nobody
hear
knows
yeah,
about
you
it. That's
don't
what I'm
hear
talking about. It's
it.
kept
It's
underground.
very underappreciated, and we want to get that out there. We want to start covering a lot of these guys who, like I said, train their ass off and don't.
Right.
Nobody knows who they are. You know, we want to get some names out there. We want to faces to names, names to faces. Get these guys out here.
Tango and Cash, Cash and Tango.
And let them know what's going on.
October
So,
14th.
October 14th. okay.
October 14th.
So
Well,
we'll be
thank you.
hopefully confirming with Brian.
That
here.
matter of fact look that you got. He said, "Oh, I'm sorry."
And
Just in case he was listening, he was like, "Oh shit."
Wait a minute, I'm open for that day.
but
Are we just gonna gloss over that there was a Tango and Cash reference? Are we just gonna gloss over that?
Like
Genetics.
that's the thing. I bring that extra special to the podcast, and if you don't really listen to it, you won't even catch
you
it.
bring something special to the podcast.
That's what I was talking about.
You're definitely special. No.
I think it'd be even better. Like you dress up. One can be Tango. One can be Cash. You can
The
be.
funny
Pony-
thing
you
is
can be
that was one of
Ponytail.
our favorites. That was one of our most favorite movies growing up. Was Demolition Man and Tango and Cash.
See? You be Tango. You be Cash. He can be Ponytail. Like
I'll be Wesley Snipes. Let's go
There you go. We're going straight to Demolition Man.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.
Later.